Love. What the world needs, what the United States needs, is appropriate love. Appropriate love. Love can be broken down into various facets, various terms, but there's only one true definition, which we're going to get into later. But first, I want to talk about the general systems theory as well as the interactive social system. These things sound like a vocabulary monster movie, but they're very serious aspects in terms of love. The general system theory, interactive social system, should be attached to appropriate love, and this should involve discipline, motivation, leadership, teamwork, as well as diversity. The book of Genesis in the Bible, Genesis 2:18 says, it's not good to be alone. The general systems theory says, when we're in our environment by ourselves, it's not natural. We have to be around people, which goes to the interactive social system that states, once we're out of our environment and we know who we are and we're together, we must learn to work together in that environment in order for us to be together as an organism and as a people. People do not mind being used, but boy, oh boy, they don't like to be left out. I think about over the years how I've been used. My younger days, I didn't like it. But as I got older, with appropriate love, I understood that being used didn't really hurt me, and a lot of times it helped me more than the person that used me. But man, no matter what, whether I'm young or old, I do not like to be left out. The same holds true for all of us, which states and is related to the interactive social system, the general systems theory, which states we shouldn't be alone. It's not natural to be alone. Therefore, we should be together. All walks of life. When I talk about diversity, when many people think of diversity, they think of black, white, ethnicity. Diversity is a broad term which involves everybody. Diversity is imperative. Everybody should be included. There's no separation. There's no one group of people or one set of people. Everybody is included equally so that we're all happy and we find that utility within appropriate love. Having said that, I did research over 10 years ago in terms of corporations and education. In this particular point, I emphasized diversity in higher education, and I wonder why there weren't enough sufficient or a lack of African American leaders in higher education administration. And what I found out was there's things such as there wasn't enough mentors, right? There wasn't enough people of color to lead them or show them, which brought me to the simple fact that it's not just about a black and white thing, but it's about everybody included, all walks of life in terms of diversity. That's what the world needs. That's what the United States needs, diversity in terms of appropriate love. Appropriate love, in terms of diversity or anything, it calls us for teamwork. I often used to, as a high school coach, whenever we had a victory, I would put up the sign, victory formation. That victory formation reminded us as a team the responsibilities as leaders. If you look at victory formation, when you see birds fly, you see that they take turns taking the lead. If one bird falls off, another goes back to make sure that it's okay till it can fly again. Also, they fly in such an angle and such a glide that it keeps them in order and sort of an aerodynamic way so that they can get them to their destination. If you know anything about birds, their brains are little. That's why you hear the term bird brain. But if you think about the way that they live, the way that they take care of each other, and the way that they get to their destinations, although their brains are little, they still get things done. That's appropriate love in terms of team. Not only do you need an outstanding team, but appropriate love needs an outstanding leader with sound leadership. From my experience, I found out that an outstanding leader was one that led by example, one who knows how to love and care for his people or her people, and also one that is an outstanding communicator, which is the number one reason for communication is listening. We have to learn to listen. That's when we understand appropriate love. That's when we communicate, and that's when we bring utility in terms of appropriate love. A great example of appropriate love would be Jesus' leadership, all right? Quality for all life. He didn't just pick his people, he chose all people, all walks of life, and that's an outstanding demonstration of leadership. Leaders not only need IQ and EQ, but they need LQ, which is the quotient of love. If you have the quotient of love first, your intelligence quotient and your EQ will rise. But you have to understand what love is, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Appropriate love. Wow, what's the reason for living? Appropriate love. Why are you here? Is it because you have a bucket list? I don't have a bucket list. Nothing against people that do, but I found out through my life as a coach, as a professor, as a teacher, as a movie producer, those who wrote their aspects and facets in life down, by any means possible, they made sure that those things came true. And that's not good, because sometimes when we're forcing ourselves to make our dreams come true, something happens to ourselves or others. I believe in preparation. Appropriate love will show you how to prepare yourself. If you prepare yourself and aim yourself towards appropriate love, the bucket list will take care of itself. You will go, do, and meet people that you never thought before, even if you wrote the list. That brings us to the main discussion, appropriate love. What is love? Well, just in case you didn't know, some people will say, when I think of love, I think of my mom, I think of my dad, I think of my girlfriend, my wife, or even myself, material things. That's just one type. There's 3 types of love. Filial, which is like the brotherly love. Eros, which is the sensual love, and agape, which is the unconditional love. The key to love and appropriate love and understanding it is understanding that the unconditional love, the love of God, if you understand that first, the other 2 fall in place. If you understand the unconditional love of God, He will show you who your eros partner or your spouse is. He will show you who your friends are in terms of love. Understanding unconditional love of God is appropriate. Most important, we must understand in terms of appropriate love, love cannot be forced. We talk about wars and crusades that religion was forced. That was man-made. That wasn't God, because God is love. Any type of love that is forced isn't true love. The true love of God, which I showed you the picture of Jesus, comes by a choice. And that's what makes it appropriate. That's what makes it grace. That's what makes it great. So I say to you, in order to be happy, in order to succeed in life, choose the top love, the unconditional love of God. That will take care of your friendships in terms of filial. That will take care of your spouse in terms of eros, and everything else falls in line. Thank you.